I was ashamed.
Nobody would help me.
I was scared. I was afraid. Too embarrassed to say anything.
I didn't know what to do.
The girl was so traumatized she could hardly speak.
I was ashamed. Nobody would help me.
It was clear we were dealing with a homicide.
I got scared, so I just ran
I
away.
got scared, so I just ran. I didn't know what to do.
Sometimes when kids come here, they are coming here in the midst of an emergency or a crisis. It's our goal for Susie's Place to be as calming and safe for kids as possible.
Receiving a report that your child is an alleged victim of child abuse or neglect, I would assume is one of the worst days of someone's life.
I don't think that people understand how often this happens. I specialize in child abuse and neglect for my department. People are always surprised that there is that much need for it in our community, that's what I do primarily.
To have a place like Susie's Place to bring your child where they can feel comfortable in talking about what has happened.
At the core of what we do is the interview with the child. The interview is designed to be child-friendly, non-leading, non-suggestive, and just to gather information about their experiences. Kind of the way that things used to happen with investigating crimes against children is kids would have to tell their story time and time again. They may tell their story at school to a school counselor, and then again to the Child Protective Services worker, and later to a law enforcement officer, and maybe again yet later to the prosecutor's office. Kids would be traumatized by telling their story over and over and over again to people that they didn't know and they weren't comfortable with.
At first, I'll admit I was apprehensive. I was an old school policeman. I was skeptical. My experiences with Susie's Place quickly changed that.
An interview room at our police department is also my lieutenant's office. To have this resource, to be able to come down to Susie's Place for the children of the community is a great asset, and it's not anything that my department or my community would have been able to do on their own.
At Susie's Place, we do one comprehensive forensic interview, and we're able to do that because our team of professionals comes together at Susie's Place to coordinate that intervention for the child. So while the Susie's Place staff is doing the interview with the child and building rapport and allowing them to feel comfortable, the other professionals sit in another room and watch the interview over closed-circuit television.
We as a team are able to watch that interview with that child and talk together about what's best for each child in each individual case.
We have all the equipment and technology that we need to assist our team during their investigation. In each interview room, a pan-tilt zoom camera up in the corner gives kind of a bird's eye view of the room. Over the interviewer's shoulder is another camera that focuses on the child. Each room has a microphone, so the team can hear the entire interview. Our team members are able to communicate questions to us through our earpiece from another room. This way, the children only have to be interviewed by one person, one time. The team is able to flip a switch in the team room, so while I'm in the interview room, a discreet little red light signals me to put in my earpiece to listen to my team.
Where law enforcement can sit in a private room and watch the interview taking place, you're able to focus more on what is asked and what is answered.
All this technology allows us to be effective and efficient for the benefit of the child. It allows us to accurately document their story as they're telling it.
Susie's Place is able to get the interview or the investigation done with one interview with the child instead of several interviews, and that minimizes the trauma that the child will go through.
There's nothing like it when you have this from a prosecutor's perspective. For children, when they're getting acclimated to the criminal justice system, they're having to talk about the most horrific things that have ever happened to them and talk about them openly and comfortably with people that they don't know. And so, a place like Susie's Place provides an environment, a facility, people that have specialty in doing that.
My job is just to listen to them and help them through a traumatic experience. And the biggest reward for me is when a child leaves and they say, "Gosh, I feel a lot better now that I've talked about this."
Susie's Place is a great place for children to go in and share probably one of the most horrific acts that could ever happen to them. in a safe environment and hopefully walk out the door in a better place emotionally and mentally to begin the healing process.
It's difficult to imagine it before we had Susie's Place, how we were able to ever get anything done, ever to bring justice to these children.
In our entryway, there was a sign that said, "Welcome to Susie's Place." And this little girl, as she left, took a piece of chalk and she wrote on the board, "And you're going to love this place."
I've interviewed over 750, close to 800 kids in just about 3 years.
In less than 2 years, I've interviewed over 450 children that were alleged victims in abuse or neglect cases.
I've spent my whole life working crimes against children, and this is the first place where I really feel like I make a difference for kids. I can see the change in them, and I can see the moment that we make the connection and that they're ready to tell me what they've been through.
Find a way to support Susie's Place. When you go home tonight and you go give your little one a kiss, keep in mind that there could be somebody in their class who's experienced this.
In the moment that they need us to be there, we're there for them. And we're ready to hear what they have to say with no judgments. We're just here to support kids. And I think that they feel that from us when they're talking with us, and I think that they're okay with being here.